to the American Girl Addiction. I'm the American Girl Addict. This is my final video on comparing the different versions of the original 6 American Girl dolls, unless of course I choose to do Josefina, but since I don't have her, I don't know if that will be something anyone will be interested in seeing. If you do want to hear my thoughts on her in more detail, let me know down below. So Kirsten's video was pretty short because the dolls, in a way, they were too similar for me to have much material on, like with Felicity, but they were too different for me to really have much to talk about, like with Samantha, which part of that comes from the fact that there's only 2 dolls there, but I'm going to make sure Addy has a longer video that has more detail. Now, the first thing I noticed with the Addy dolls is the Pleasant Company on the left has lighter hair. It is not as dark and like solid color. That could be because my Addy is really old. Like I said, she's Pleasant Company and I got her used, but I just think, I think it's the way they're designed more than just aging. Because the Be Forever doll, I believe, is darker than the Pleasant Company Addy as well. And I'm not sure about the Mattel, so I'm missing a lot of the Addies, like intermediates put in there. So I don't know, but definitely here her skin and eyes are darker as well, and that actually makes her look like more crisp and polished. So I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. It's hard to even see, in a way, the 35th anniversary doll is Addy because she's so put together, and I'm so used to my doll, whom, while beautiful, you can see like she's lived a lot. She's received a lot of love. I'm gonna have to restuff her soon. And speaking of restuffing, so the dolls right now, my Addy is like the same size as the 35th anniversary. As you can kind of, I don't know if you can tell that there, but the dresses, the dress on the left is bigger, and that's because I think once I get my Pleasant Company Addy restuffed, then I think she will be bigger like the Pleasant Company typically are. The dress on 35th anniversary, it is a kind of darker shade of pink. So I don't know what fabric they used this time. It must have been synthetic, because even Kirsten's, and I forgot to mention that in her video, the fabric was kind of thinner and smoother, kind of. It was definitely a different fabric from the original, and you can see it here again with Addy. Other than that, the dresses are virtually identical. You can barely even see in this image the difference in the color and the fabric, which I do think part of that is because just the lighting. I try to get pretty good lighting, but you can't necessarily tell how different they are. They both have the gold hoop earrings. And let me just see. Addy, I always thought she had really thick neck strings. Okay, so this ones are much thinner, but she does have the neck strings. The boots, her meat boots, I don't have my Addies here because I actually was going to film a video on this. My Addy boots just started flaking on the inside. Or was that the Be Forever? I think it was my Be Forever boot. But yeah, Addy's not wearing her boots right now. But the new ones, I can tell you, they almost look more modern. The old ones were definitely old-fashioned, which could have just been for age. They weren't as stiff, but these are much slicker and smoother. They look like something I get in a store for me, which is great because I love combat boots. But yeah, so the boots are pretty different, which could just be because of age. Now, from what I know about the other areas of Addy, I think Most of the dolls, with the exceptions of Felicity and Kirsten, seem to be, actually, and Josefina, I think, but I'm not sure. But most of the dolls, I feel like, looked very similar to the Mattel era. So, like, which it makes sense because, you know, American Girl is currently owned by Mattel. So it makes sense that they're more doing the interpretation of the dolls that they had when they started making them themselves. So that's kind of a good guide, like, again, except in, I mean, Kirsten, you saw, she was still much more similar to the Mattel than she was to the Pleasant Company, but she was a little different, and Felicity is just radically different in each form. And I keep using that same phrase, radically different, but she is very different in the new version than the other, like the Mattels or the Be Forever, whatever. So Addy, she looks a lot like the Be Forever, I feel like, but the hair might be a little bit different. Again, without having the Addy, it's hard to tell. I might put in some pictures. But overall, American Girl did a really good job with Addy. Again, you can hardly tell the dresses are different. And most of the differences between these two versions of Addy, I feel like could be chopped up to just, mine is a lot older. I don't know when exactly during the Pleasant Company years she was made, but definitely like pre the purchase by Mattel. So I think Addy looks very similar to the dolls that I've actually been able to see in stores. So like 2008-ish onward. But yeah, I still think it's a really good recreation of the original Addy.